us enjoy having dogs as pets. For a lot of people, they provide a source of companionship and unconditional love. Dogs become part of the family, and in many cases, they are regarded as our children. We worry about them when they're sick, we buy them specialty foods and treats, and we spend endless amounts of money on their vet care. Some people even dress their dogs in clothes or carry them around in specialty bags. There are hundreds of breeds to choose from, so whether you want a 2-pound teacup Yorkie or a 250-pound English Mastiff, you have plenty of choices and surely can find one to suit your lifestyle. All dogs were bred for a special purpose or job. Some were bred to herd sheep or cattle, some were bred as companions for royalty, and some were bred to fight or guard. One breed in particular was bred to rescue travelers, and that is the St. Bernard. The first known St. Bernards were used by monks starting around 1660 to help rescue travelers who were trying to cross St. Bernard Pass, which connects Italy and Switzerland and is located in the Swiss Alps. The monks started a hospice in a monastery around the year 1050. They wanted to provide a place of refuge for travelers that were crossing the pass. They acquired the dogs to serve as both companions and watchdogs, but they soon realized that the dogs would make great rescuers for the stranded travelers. The dogs were able to sniff people out that were buried in the snow, and what the monks would do is they would send them out in groups of 2 or 3, and when they would find somebody that was buried in the snow, one of the dogs would sit next to that person or lay on them and keep them warm, and then another dog would go back to the monastery and alert the monks that there was a lost traveler that needed help. So then the monks would go back to where that traveler was and bring him back to the monastery and nurse him back to health. Now, one St. Bernard in particular, that he was so successful at rescuing, he became famous, and his name was Barry. And according to the website smithsonianmag.com of the Smithsonian Institute, Barry helped save over 40 lost travelers. He lived and worked at the hospice for 12 years, from 1800 to 1812, and he died in 1814. Barry was so well regarded that his body was preserved to be displayed at the Natural History Museum in Bern, Switzerland, and it's still there today. For a couple of years, around 1816 to 1818, the St. Bernards almost became extinct because of harsh winter weather conditions. A lot of them died when they got caught in the avalanches, so the monks were forced to find other dogs to crossbreed with to try to keep them going, and they came up with the idea of breeding their dogs with Newfoundlands because of their large size and their long hair. They thought they could withstand the cold, but the long hair didn't work because it got packed with ice. So the St. Bernards couldn't trek through the snow as well, and so the monks just started finding them homes with the locals. Overall, the St. Bernards, while they did rescue work at the monastery, they were credited with rescuing around 2,000 people. The St. Bernard went without an official name for many years. They were referred to as hospice dogs, mountain dogs, Swiss alpine dogs, alpine mastiffs, and St. Bernard mastiffs. In 1880, they finally received the official name of St. Bernard from the Swiss Kennel Club. The St. Bernards of today make great family pets. They love people, and especially children. They have a very protective nature, and they can sense when something isn't right. Although a full-grown St. Bernard can easily knock you down, but they would never intentionally do so. They tend to lean against people. They're very gentle by nature, and that has earned them the nickname of the Gentle Giant. They are categorized by the American Kennel Club as working dogs, and full-grown adults can range from 125 pounds up to 185 pounds for the larger males. They have two different coat types, which are rough and smooth. Smooth coats are short and slick, and rough coats are long. The average lifespan of a St. Bernard is 7 to 10 years, so they don't have a very long lifespan. Some of their health problems to watch out for are bloat, droopy eyelids, skin problems, and hip dysplasia. They're a very lazy breed and they don't need a lot of exercise. Usually about 30 minutes a day is sufficient for them, so they would do well in a small apartment also. They are clingy and they need to spend a lot of time with their owners. They don't do well by themselves for long periods of time, and they can be destructive if they're left alone too long. They drool a lot, especially when they get excited or when they eat, and they are capable of splattering that drool several feet up on the walls. St. Bernards are very strong and they can compete in weight pulling contests, and they also are used to pull carts. They love cold weather, they love the snow, and will go out and romp around all day long in the snow. They don't do well in warm weather, so you need to make sure in the summer to keep them nice and cool. Overall, the St. Bernard is a great dog to own. They're sweet dogs and have a great loving personality. They're very loyal and always watching out for their family. St. Bernards are pretty low maintenance considering their size, except for vet bills can get expensive with them. They don't eat a lot because they're so lazy, so food isn't really a big expense for them. So if you're considering owning a dog, check out the St. Bernard and see for yourself what great companions they make. You will without a doubt fall in love with this breed.